Welcome to Quest Kids TV. Each week our goal is to bring Sunday morning home to you. If this is your first week with us, thank you for joining us. All March we've been focusing on forgiveness. Forgiveness is a sign that someone who has wronged you doesn't have to pay. Our memory verse has been Colossians 3:13. Put up with one another, forgive one another. If you're holding something against someone, forgive, just as the Lord has forgiven you. Forgiveness is definitely something you want to have in your tool belt. It is way better to forgive someone than to go around being angry and frustrated all the time. And here's the cool part. Forgiveness is up to you. It's a do-it-yourself project. You don't need anyone to tell you to forgive. It's something you can choose to do anytime you need to fix your relationship with someone. But you don't have to do it alone. God is always there to help you forgive. This week, we're continuing our story with the lost son. Last week, our story, we learned about the father who gave his son a share of the family fortune. With his share, the son ran off, wasted all the money his father had given him. Penniless, starving, the son returned home. He was sure his father was going to be angry, but his father was happy to see him. And that's where our story ended. But there's actually more to our story. See, the father in our story actually had two sons. He heard about the lost son, but the other son stayed home and was faithful to his father. I wonder what that would feel like. If I was the faithful son who was at home the whole time, was working my tail off, my good-for-nothing brother was living like a king, spending all the family money. And then when he returned, Dad gave him a party? Are you kidding me, a party? Oh, whoa, sorry about that. Luckily for us, this week we have a video to learn how God would want us to react. Well, good luck.
Hey party people, I'm Erica, and actually I'm planning a party to celebrate fixing up my new apartment! All month long, we've been talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness is deciding that someone who has wronged you doesn't have to pay. Forgiveness can clean up some pretty bad messes, which is exactly what I've been doing around this place. So before we get this party started, I'm going to show you one last do-it-yourself hack involving my new kitchen table. My friend Chris volunteered to help me move it into the apartment, which was great of him until the incident. It was Chris's idea to turn the table sideways to get it in the door. I told him it wouldn't work, but he did it anyways and broke one of the legs. So guess what? I was right and he was wrong. Now look at my table. So it was Chris's fault that I have to spend my whole afternoon showing you how to make a table more level. Thanks a lot, Chris. Guess who's not getting invited to the party now? It's you, Chris. Let's do this thing. That was pretty easy, actually. Let's check this out. Test 1. Test 2. Yay! Last but not least, test 3. Oh man, still pretty good. Don't think that lets you off the hook, Chris. You're still missing out on my party. Today's story is about a guy who wasn't so sure he wanted to party. My party's going to be great, by the way. We're going to have music and games and snacks. And although Chris would usually be the one to bring the snacks, plus he plays the best games and picks really good music. Ugh! If Chris isn't invited, maybe I'll be the one who misses out.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. And now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Luke, chapter 15, verses 21 through 32.
When Jesus wanted to share something important, he often told a story to explain what he meant. Now one day the religious leaders were grumbling because Jesus chose to bring in outcasts and people who did things wrong.
He hangs out with sinners and even eats with them.
Jesus knew their hearts. These men thought they were better than everyone else. So he told them the story of a man and his 2 sons. Now the youngest son asked for his share of his father's money and he took off. He spent his money on parties and all other stuff. But then the money ran out and he ended up at a miserable job feeding pigs while he himself starved. Desperate, the young son returned home, planning on begging for mercy and working as a servant. Instead, his father welcomed him with open arms and even planned a party for his lost son in his honor. Ultimately, seemed like a happy ending. But Jesus wasn't finished with the story yet.
The older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing.
If Jesus were to tell that story to us today, it might sound something like this. The older brother, let's call him Will. He spent the entire day working hard, perhaps plowing up the packed dirt on a brand new field.
Come on, Bessie. Just one more row. Gotta finish before the light goes.
As the sun slipped behind the hill, Will finished breaking the dirt on his last long row.
I just need some water and a quiet meal and bed.
Will trudged slowly back to the house and left Bessie in the barn with a bag of oats.
If my slacker brother hadn't run off, I wouldn't have to work so hard.
As Will neared the house, he was surprised to see the lights blazing from every window.
What is going on?
Will stopped, trying to make sense of all the activity and the music. Then, the back door opened. One of the servants stepped outside to throw out a bowl of scrap, and she turned to go back inside.
Wait.
The servant paused.
What's happening?
It's just the party for your brother.
The what for my what?
You haven't heard? Your brother showed up this afternoon. Your dad had the fattest calf killed and roasted to celebrate. He is so thankful Jake's safe.
A party? My dad is throwing a party?
I'll let the family know you're back.
What? No. I am not coming in.
The servant wrinkled her nose.
Whew. You want someone to run you a bath first?
Leave me alone.
The servant hurried back inside. Will paced as his exhaustion vanished and anger coursed through his veins.
I work all day. Every day. Has Dad ever thrown a party for me?
Will stalked back and forth, fuming as the back door opened up again. His father hurried out.
Will, here you are.
Well, look at that. You decided to remember I exist.
Your brother is back. He's okay.
Well, that is just fantastic.
We're all celebrating, but it's not complete without you. Come on inside.
Will turned and looked directly at his father, eyes blazing.
All these years, I've worked non-stop for you. I've done every single thing you asked, and you never even given me a goat to have a party with my friends.
You never said you wanted.
This son of yours runs away with your money and wastes it like a fool. Then he shows up and you roast a fatted calf and throw a giant shindig.
Will's father sighed, took a deep breath, and looked Will directly in the face.
My son, you are always with me. Everything I have is yours, but we had to celebrate and be glad. This brother of yours was dead for all we knew. And now he's alive again. He was lost and now he is found.
Look, I'm real tired. I plowed the entire north field.
Thank you.
I think I'll just go to bed.
Won't you come into the party? Just for a few minutes.
Will hesitated. He could see the people through the window, dancing, eating, full of joy. The light and the music called them.
Please, Will.
We don't know if the older brother ever listened to his father. We don't know if he ever forgave his younger brother. We don't know if he chose to go and enjoy the party. But what we do know is that if he stayed outside, he missed out on many good things.
The older brother in Jesus' story totally missed out. Being right was way more important to him than repairing the relationships with his father and brother. The father, on the other hand, forgave his son and threw a big party! Forgiveness is something we should celebrate. Think about it. In the beginning, God decorated for the biggest party ever when he made paradise for his people. But over time, people got further and further and further away from paradise. So God sent Jesus. Because of what Jesus did for us, we can be forgiven. Jesus even said that when someone turns to God, there's great joy in heaven. Maybe like a party! When you forgive someone in your heart, that's worth celebrating. I mean, forgiveness can save relationships. It can even make someone else feel like they matter. And forgiveness can take the weight off your shoulders too. But when you hold grudges and you don't forgive, you can miss out on all that stuff. That's why the one thing to remember today is this. When you don't forgive, you miss out. So, of course, I'm going to forgive my friend Chris for breaking my table even though I was right and he was wrong. I don't want to miss out on our party. And I definitely don't want to miss out on our friendship. That's way more important to me than being right. Well, that's all for now. I've got to go get ready for a party. See you around.
Hey guys, Brianna here. I just want to talk to you about our activity this week that we're going to be doing. It's all about forgiveness and really just throwing a party. So what you're going to do with your families is you're going to get some party supplies, anything that you have on hand, and you're going to go ahead and make sure that we are practicing forgiveness, because when we don't forgive people around us, we all miss out. Parents, don't forget to download the Parent Q app to follow along with your children each week with us. And have fun throwing your party, and we'll see you guys all next week.